welcome to part 3 of the home buying process. I am super excited because this is the part where we get to have some fun. It's time to go shopping, honey. This is the last step that brings me so much joy. So just to recap, the home buying process. The first video, I explained the pre-work, basically you assessing your own income, your own credit, your own assets, your own debt to get you closer to purchasing a home. Video 2 was about the pre-approval process. You actually speaking to a professional and you actually getting a pre-approval letter on an amount that you can afford, an amount that you feel comfortable paying every month. This video is going to be about the shopping process, the consultation with a realtor. Now that you've been pre-approved, that means you have an opportunity to purchase a home, which in fact means you have an opportunity to generate another line of wealth. You can look at this as a line of wealth because a lot of people, their first home is not something that they're going to actually be living in for 30 years. Especially us millennials, we like to hop around, and it's bad and good at the same time, because even if we hop around, within 2 years, we can now use this property that we just purchased as a income generator. We can now rent it out to generate additional income for the actual property that we want to purchase and live in for the rest of our lives. So think of it that way, and that's why I get so happy once you are pre-approved for a home, because now we get to the fun part. We get to actually shop for homes that you want. So during this time, you and I meet together. I like to meet face to face. I understand people are very busy. I understand things happen. I understand people have kids. So if you prefer to meet on the phone or have a consultation on the phone, I'm okay with that as well. And most of the times I am free. I like to schedule my consultations because I want to give you my undivided attention, and I want to have your undivided attention as well, because I want to get as much information from you so that when I start looking for homes for us to go visit, it matches your needs fairly closely. So once we're in that consultation, I'm basically asking you questions like, well, what area do you want to live in? How many rooms are you looking to have? What amenities mean the most to you? Like things like that, so that I can find homes that best meets what you want, best meets the needs for your family, things of that sort. So during this consultation, that's what I'm doing. Once you have provided me this, I now get to go online, and I also give you access to my app, my online website, so that you can search for homes that look good to you, so that I can have an idea of what you're actually looking for. So during this time, you and I are going back to actually look at houses or look at properties that match what you're looking for. Once we've found at least 3, we can go schedule time to actually go look at those properties. And with me, once we go look at the properties, I like to narrow it down to at least 2. Give me your top 2 favorites. Once we have the top 2, we can now put a comparison together. Okay, let's look at how much these homes were worth. Let's look at what the taxes are for these homes. Let's look at the HOA, if it's in the HOA development, what is included in the HOA and how much that HOA fees. Let's compare the two to find what makes sense. That's why I like to pick at least the top 2. Once you find your first favorite and your second, I'm going to say, okay, well, Bill, which one do you like the absolute most? Which one do you want me to put an offer on for you? Okay, you're going to tell me, okay, well, the first one, because it makes sense. It's something that I love. Plus, it also makes sense on the back end as far as taxes, as far as HOA fees and things like that. So once you have done that and we pick the home that best meets your needs or that's best suitable for you, we now are able to put an offer on the house. So I will write up the contract for you. I will send it over to the listing agent before I write up the contract. Send it over to the listing agent. I will send it over to you, and you and I will review it. You and I will review the contract, because the contract can be very scary if you're not used to looking at legal documents that have a lot of crucial information in them. So you and I will kind of review it and kind of go over it, so you kind of have an understanding of what you're signing, because there are a lot of things that we have to pay attention to, and a lot of dates that we have to write down in order to effectively execute this contract. So you and I will discuss the contract, and then once you've signed it and we both agree with what was written, I will send it over to the listing agent. The listing agent will then review all the offers that they received with the owner of the house, and get back to us with a decision of, okay, yes, I accept your offer, or no, I didn't. So this is a waiting game. This is the waiting period. During this period, we're still shopping. We're still looking around for houses. We're still, because we don't want to, yes, I understand you love this home, but you don't want to get your hopes up in that one home until our offer is actually accepted. So we will always be on the lookout for homes during this time until we have fully executed the contract. And that's when both parties have signed the contract. So once both parties have signed the contract and then we get the call and say, yes, your offer has been accepted, now the time frame begins. So in the contract, we illustrate the inspection period. The inspection period is basically your opportunity once you have provided the escrow company your escrow, which is your down payment or your deposit. I wouldn't say down payment, because down payment is for a loan. Your deposit, showing that I'm willing to put down $3,000 for this home for you to hold, to show that I'm serious, that I seriously want this home. So let me rewind. During that process, once the contract has been fully executed, you have a certain time frame to get that escrow amount, that deposit, to the escrow company that's going to be holding that deposit. Most of the times it's 3 days. So, and again, this is I'm your professional. I'm your realtor. I'm your trusted advisor. Basically, this is the best word that's what I like to call myself when we're going through this process. I'm your trusted advisor. I have these dates written down. So I'm going to be texting you, making sure that you have fully executed everything or every date that is on that contract that you've signed. So you can say bother you, because I want to make sure that we execute this contract fully, because I don't want any money left on the table to go to anyone if they don't deserve it, especially when you're my client. I don't want you to lose out on any money. So you have up to 3 days from the day that we fully executed the contract. So when both parties sign, to deposit the deposit to the escrow company. Once you've deposited, we now have to start the inspection period. The inspection period is also illustrated in the contract that we've signed. During the inspection period, you want to make sure that you have an inspector handy, and you have to make sure that you have money handy to pay that inspector. Inspection is not required, but it is recommended. Like, I recommend you doing an inspection, because the house can look beautiful from the outside, but you want to make sure from the inside, the things that we can't detect, being us humans, especially a lady like me that doesn't know what plumbing is supposed to look like, that doesn't know what a 10-year-old air condition looks like. An inspector is licensed to inspect homes. So you want to make sure you get the inspector, because they'll be able to provide you an inspection report of everything that needs to be fixed on the home, or let you know that, okay, this home is in great shape. You better hurry up and jump on it if you can. So that's your period to kind of have someone assess the home, to make sure that the home that you're looking at from the outside also looks good on the inside as well. So you would be the one that will be paying that out of pocket. For a 3-bedroom home, inspectors usually vary between $350 to $400. So depending on how big the house is, that's how much the range of an inspection is. A good place where you can find inspectors are Thumbtack. A lot of my clients find inspectors on Thumbtack. You can Google it. There are a lot of inspection companies that are ready to inspect homes. Just make sure you find a good one that's going to provide you an accurate report, so that you can actually review. Once that inspection is done, you and I will go ahead and review that inspection report, and then we'll have a discussion on, okay, well, we know this, and this has to be fixed. Do you feel okay with proceeding with the house, even if the owner doesn't agree with fixing this, and this? I want to have that verbal conversation with you up front, because yes, I'm going to go back to the owner of the home and the listing agent and say, okay, well, this is the inspection report. This is what came back. Is your client willing to fix this? Is your client willing to credit this at closing? Some of the times the owners will say yes, but they're not obligated to say yes. They can always say no. So I want to make sure from you that if the client says no, that I have this conversation rapidly with the owner, so that we do not miss that inspection period, because we only have a certain day to inspect the period and say yay or nay. Do I want to proceed with this transaction before this period ends? Because again, we have money deposited in escrow, and if we do not complete this process or period of time properly, you have an opportunity to lose that escrow money. So you want to make sure, and we want to make sure, that we inspect the home and have these conversations with the owner and the listing agent in a timely manner, so that we do not lose out on that deposit that you have holding in escrow. If you say, yes, Ashley, whatever it is, even if they don't credit me, I'm willing to go with it. We then, once I've try to attempt to have some type of conversation or try to have a negotiation with the owner and the listing agent, we get it in writing on whatever they're willing to close. We send the address over to the lender, the mortgage loan originator. Now comes back into the picture. We send the information over to the mortgage loan originator, and the underwriting process begins. So the underwriting now goes into even more depth details on the things that got you pre-qualified for the loan. So the underwriting now will send people to appraise the home. You now are shopping for insurance. Again, you're getting so much closer to actually becoming a homeowner. So the underwriting process can take 10 days if you did not do anything to change what we assessed in the pre-approval process. Some of the things that can change is credit. Like I said, some of the things are out of our control, but if we're paying on time, if we haven't applied for any new credit cards, then you're going to close faster in the underwriting process than you would if you did have some life-changing events that occurred during the process, from your pre-approval, from actually home shopping to actually going through the underwriting process. So as long as everything is in order, it can be fast. It can take up to 45 days. But again, this is another thing that we have to pay attention to, because in the contract, we have to put the days that we will be sending over the information to the mortgage company to actually start the underwriting process. So once underwriting has reevaluated everything, and you're clear, everything looks good, we will all get an email or a letter from the lender saying we are now clear to close. When you hear you're clear to close, oh, you better that's when I go buy the champagne, whatever it is, whatever gift that I feel is suitable for you, that's when I go buy it, because that means, oh, we are getting closer to that closing table sooner rather than later. So the clear to close is what we want to receive from the underwriting team or from the lender to actually get you that much closer to the closing table. So once we get that clear to close, you and I will do the final walkthrough. And what the final walkthrough is basically us going back to the property and making sure that it is in the same condition that we initially saw it at, or in a better condition after the owner has done all the inspection or all the things that was listed on the inspection report. So it needs to be in great condition. So by this time, the previous owner has moved out. If they were still living in the home, we do our final walkthrough, make sure they didn't take anything that was still listed in the contract, like the stove, the oven, the things that were stated that were supposed to be yours. We go walk through and make sure everything is in order. Once we do the final walkthrough, we either the next day we go to the closing table. And the closing table is where we sign all the documents. Most of the time, the owner and you are there. If not, the owner signs wherever he is, and then they send us the documents and we sign and we have that conversation. You pay whatever is due, and you are officially a homeowner. You are officially a homeowner, and you get the keys at that closing table. So, like I said, this process, it seems long, but it can be fairly easy if you're ready to discipline yourself to get to that finish line, to get to that closing table, to get to that clear to close. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. This is my 3-step process, or my 3-part video of the home buying process. If you have any questions or concerns, if you have anything that you want to talk about that I probably did not cover or that you need clarification on, feel free to inbox me. Feel free to comment below. Like it, share it if you know anyone that's in the process of purchasing a home. I am ready to be your realtor. I am ready to take on this journey with you. So I want you guys to feel comfortable with everything that you guys do. If you have anything that you want to talk about, inbox me, call me, whatever you feel comfortable, whatever your best contact method is, it works for me. You guys have a wonderful day. Again, it's Ashley the Realtor. Bye.